Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Build with the CEO. It is 12:01 on a Tuesday, and that means I'm here hanging out with you. And today is July 1st, which means it is a new month and we have a new theme. And I will announce that theme in a second. But we've got a few things to wrap up from June. So if you've been watching, if you've been paying attention, if you've been following along, if you're on our email list, you know that in June we were talking all about macros, right? We had Eve from Macros University on. We had Jacob from Macros First on. I did a couple episodes. We gave away a bunch of free stuff. We have a 5-day lead magnet. And we just finished up. And it took a little longer than expected because we wanted to get it right and make it awesome. We just dropped a 28-day macro program inside of Coach Catalyst called the Macro Method. Now, Emma went into the cave and came out with something amazing. So she created an incredible program around macros that you can use with your clients. So every Coach Catalyst user gets this program included for free. So you go into the marketplace and you go to macro method or just type in macro, you'll see it pop up and then you can download it. It's a 28-day macro program that you can use with your clients. It's a really good 4-week jumpstart. Ideally, we'd be coaching them longer, right? And if you listen to the episode with Eve, she's looking at even like 6 months with clients. But this is a 28-day one that's really going to take clients through all the basics. So I'm just going to share my screen with you and let's see if I can do this right. So we're going to share my screen and let's see if we can show you the right one. I think it's this one. Yep. All right. So check this thing out right through here. So this is the program. Remember, you go to the marketplace over here, go to marketplace. I'm not going to leave here, but you go to programs, go to marketplace, find the macro program, and you're going to see it right in here. So let me just show you some of the awesomeness that's in here. Okay. So right in here, here's a look at some of the content that we've created, right? Again, extremely thorough. You're going to be able to go in here and make any modifications that you need to make. If there is something, we'll usually put it in here and highlight it. So if there's a modification you want to make to the program, right? But we've done a ton of the heavy lifting for you, right? You can go in here and you can modify anything that's in here, right? But we've done a lot of the heavy lifting. And you're going to notice in here the action to just track your intake. But if you want something to be different, you can. And then we've got our weekly check-in forms in here, everything set out ready for you to rock and roll, right? So we try to make it as easy as possible. And you'll notice here all these yellow highlights where we want you to add in some stuff to just make it your own. But if you've been thinking about launching a macro program with your clients, here's your sign. We've already done all of the heavy lifting. You just have to go in and make your modifications. You can thank me later because there's a lot of time and effort and resources that went into creating that program. And if you do use the program, let me know how it went. Let me know if your clients liked it. But that's pretty cool. And it just dropped. So you can find that in programs, marketplace, again, free to all Coach Catalyst users. So just helping you guys be better coaches. So that really wraps up macro month. We got that 28-day program out there. And remember, there is a 5-day program in there too if you need a little bit more of a lead magnet. It's kind of a nice flow. You can put the 5-day one as a lead magnet out there and then sell people into the 28-day one and build your coaching practice. So pretty sweet there. All right. I have comments and that kind of stuff not really working. I can see that people are watching, but I can't read. Oh, I do see a comment. Hey, Holly. Sweet. Thanks. Thanks for the comment. I can see them today. Sometimes I can see them, sometimes I can't see them on Facebook, but today I can. So if you do have a comment, drop it in there. I'll try to refresh it every once in a while so I can see them. But yeah, so today, new month, okay, July 1st today. And today we are talking about fall marketing. Okay. You might be thinking middle of summer. I'm thinking barbecue and boats and water. But really, as coaches, we should be thinking about the fall right now. Too many times, myself included, comes up for air at the end of the summer, late August, early September, and we're like, I should be running a program this fall because fall is arguably the most important time to be putting an offer out there for people. So fall, some people will call it like the second New Year's, but honestly, I think the fall, and in my experience, the fall has been a better time for me to get new clients than New Year's, because New Year's attracts a very specific type of person. Fall is a little bit different, right? Think about what fall is for most people. And if you serve kind of the quintessential normal fitness market, right, your clients are probably between 25 and 55, right? They probably have kids, or they're busy. And so summer is this time of a little bit more freedom, maybe a little bit more lackluster. And then once fall hits, once kids go back to school, right, we're really thinking about routine, as humans. And that, remember, this is a psychographic. I talk about this a lot, but we're starting to think about routine. And so that is when you want to be presenting your offer to them when they're in that mindset. But that work starts now, right? That work doesn't start at the end of August. It starts right now in July with the planning and the prep and the preparing and ultimately the nurturing that we need to do throughout the summer in order to be really successful in the fall. But the fall, like September time, is one of the best times to launch that core program. But then we have the rest of the fall. We have kind of parts of October. We have November and December, which most coaches just kind of like poo poo. And they're like, okay, no one really buys during that time. But I would argue we shouldn't actually be thinking about gaining a ton of clients during that time. We should be thinking about providing a ton of value and meeting clients where they're at with the goal of getting clients in the new year. So October, November, December, kind of Q4 of the year is a great time to build our list and also nurture our list. And the third thing, I don't even have a term for this, but get like a micro commitment from our list, right? Have them participate in something fun, free, low cost, charity type, so that we can take our entire list and just find the group of people that are a little bit more interested than everybody else. And so at Coach Catalyst, we've built a lot of programs around this specific time, right? We have a program called Back to School, which we're going to be highlighting throughout this month as a potential program for you to run in the back to school time. It is an 8-week program. So this is a core offering, right? We're charging for this. We're charging what we should be charging for a coaching program. And then I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe Emma is creating a part 2 to it. That is going to be another 8 weeks. So if you did want to run a 16-week coaching program in the fall, we're going to have much of it built out. Right. And this is going to be heavy on habits and education, just like a lot of our stuff is. But again, you can modify it. But that's called Back to School. So if you want to check that out in the marketplace, you can definitely check that out. And so we want to be running that core program, right? Core program in early September. Typically, people start after Labor Day. And so wherever that lands, I don't know what the date is right off the top of my head, but our marketing kind of leads up to that 2 to 3 weeks before that. And then we launch our program and that runs through September, maybe into October, depending if it's a 6-8 week program. But then as we get into October, right, we have to think about where that client is at. So October in the United States, we're starting to become a little bit cooler. Fall is coming on. We've got Halloween that happens at the end of October. We've got a lot more sugar in the house, and so we've created another program called Spooktacular that kind of fits with that theme, which is really good for building your leads and also for getting people to make a micro commitment. Right. And then after that, we move into November, which November is now getting in. I would start to consider November kind of like the holiday season, right? It's the start of holidays with Thanksgiving happening towards the end of November. And then November into December is essentially the holiday season, right? It's holiday parties. It's chaos, right? And so we shouldn't be trying to get a lot of new clients in that chaotic period because they're not going to be great clients because no one is dialed in that period. We just have too much going on with life. But those are great times to get people on our list, support them, provide value for them through that chaotic time so that when the new year hits, now we can hit the ground running. Okay. And so throughout this month, we're going to be talking about fall marketing. We're going to be giving you guys plans. We're going to give you ideas. We're going to give you guides to be able to map this stuff out to have an incredible fall, because your fall, the success in your fall starts right now. So it's kind of like I live in a farming, agricultural heavy community. Right? I like the farming analogy. I think I first heard this from Mike Boyle, and this is really talking about athletic development, but I think it's really any sort of long-term process, right? Is we first prepare, right? The land, and then we plant the seed, and then we water and we wait and we water and we wait and we fertilize and do all that kind of stuff, and then we harvest, right? So there's this process we need to go through, and it takes time, right? I can't make the corn grow any faster, right? It takes time. And this is like any process. If I want to run a program in September after Labor Day, right, I need to start preparing now. I need to be preparing the soil. I need to be planting the seeds, right? I need to be fertilizing so that I can harvest in September, right? And I can't speed that process up. I can't take farming and say, hey, we're just going to make this a 1 month process. No, farming is a 3, 4, 5 month process, right? And so when we give ourselves time, we can execute it at a really, 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 really high level. And I think fall is one of those times that it's worth the effort to go in and like go after this period. It's not quite as crowded with other people making offers, right? New Year is kind of like everyone's out there. And so it's not quite as crowded. And it really fits the client psychology, right? They're starting to crave structure. They're wanting more structure because of the free for all that summer can be, right? And we all live it. We're all there, right? And so you're going to have the client's going to have more mental space. The summer pace kind of starts to slow down. um, we need to make sure that we have plenty of lead time, because we should be kind of promoting a lot of this, or at least seeding it in August. So that means in July, this is like our prep time, right? So if we need to create any automations, any pages, any nurture sequences, right? If you're not feeling rushed in this process, right, you're going to be way more creative and you're going to produce a better product. Okay. But if we wait until the end of August, or we just try and ship something really quickly, it may fall flat, or it may not be as successful as we want it to be. I'm a big fan of sprints. I'm a big fan of having periods where we push really hard, right? We go get a bunch of clients, and then we serve those clients to the best of our ability for another period, rather than always feeling like we're having to always get clients. Sometimes having these push periods allows us to push hard, take a step back for a second, push hard, take a step back, and then people will trickle in between. But having these push periods can really help us like organize and mentally feel a little bit more at ease, right? And so I think this is one of those times where we can really really get after it, rather than just trying to react when September comes around. And so that's what all my episodes, this entire month is going to be about, is helping you guys create a plan that's really successful, give you guys resources so you can be really successful. So again, just to kind of look at this overview, right? We have a core program that we want to launch in September. And then that program may run through October. You may run it through the end of the year, depending if it's an 8-week or a 16-week program. But while that's going concurrently, we also want to be building our list, because we're emailing them, right? And we're providing value, right? Email marketing should be one of our top marketing strategies, right? Filling that email list, emailing on a regular basis, providing value, right? And so we're emailing on a regular basis. We can build that email list with some of the resources that we've created around Spooktacular, right? To really fit with the psychographic of that particular time, right? And then I believe it's called the No Sugar Challenge, or it might be something different, but that's another really good one that you could run in there to have that micro commitment, right? We don't necessarily need them to come into one of our core coaching programs, but get that micro commitment where they engage with us. Or if you are doing more of a evergreen group-based program, that could be something that be fun for the group for this period, right? And then we get through that piece, right? And then we move closer to Thanksgiving, and then we get into a lead magnet around like festival recipes and things that make sense with the mindset that someone is in there, right? And then maybe it's a no holiday weight gain, maybe it's the Christmas countdown. All of these are programs that we've created in Coach Catalyst that you can utilize to, again, micro commitments. We're just asking the client to go from our email list to a participant in one of our coaching programs. That then gives you the opportunity as a coach to show how awesome you are, really, at the end of the day. And these little micro commitments, these aren't solving their entire problem, right? They might be solving a small part of their problem, but not the entire problem. That's what the core offerings are for. And so we have that core offering that's launched and it's rolling in the fall, because we did a great job in August marketing and nurturing our list to sign people up for that. So that's rolling. We're sharing success stories about that throughout the fall. And then we're building our list, right? We're getting these micro commitments with these smaller programs. And then we're boom, big launch in January again for our next big push, right? So it gives us a little bit of this ebb and flow, but we're not just focused on one thing. Too many times I see coaches like, okay, cool, I'm going to start my program. I filled my program. I'm running my program. And then I just kind of forget about marketing. And I'm no longer kind of building that list. Right. And then I come up for air for my program. I'm like, oh, shoot, I need to start marketing my next one. And so we can do this stuff concurrently. And throughout the month, we're going to kind of show you how to do this and not lose your mind. But you can do these things concurrently, because to build a sustainable business, we need all these different aspects, right? We need to be delivering actual service, right? So we're getting paid for that, but we also need to be filling the bucket from a lead and people that might be interested. Maybe they're not ready right now, but maybe they're ready in 2 weeks. Maybe they're ready in 3 weeks. Maybe they're ready when I launch my next program, right? But we need to continue to fill that bucket so we can continue to provide value to that bucket, so that when they're ready, we're the person they think of to help them be successful. Right. And so much of July should be mapping out our fall. And we're going to do everything we can to help you be successful with that, and give you a roadmap and a game plan to be able to do that. And that should be ready next week for you. And we're going to have a really cool guide that you can use to help start mapping it out. So in the meantime, if you want to kind of look at some stuff and play with some stuff, I would look at the back to school program inside of Coach Catalyst. Just like I showed you at the beginning of this video, if you go into programs and then you go into marketplace, you're going to find that one there called back to school. So that's going to be a really good one. And then you might want to look at like a sugar detox program. That could be another really good one. We have one called the Sugar Detox Challenge. That's a really good one for after Halloween, right? People have way too much sugar in their house, right? Because why not? It's America. We're just going to hand out candy to kids. Like, they need more sugar, right? So that's another really good one that you could execute there. And then we have another one, if you want to look at it too. I believe it's called the Christmas Countdown. I'm looking it up right now to see what the actual name of it is, so I can make sure that I am not feeding you false information. So, or is it? I think it's called Holiday. Let's check that one. Let's check Holiday and see if that pulls it up. So I'll have to look it up. I'll put it in all the notes to the different programs that you can start looking at to start executing. But back to school, definitely check out that one. Type in sugar, and that'll bring up the Sugar Detox Challenge, which is another really good one that you can look at. And then actually, I don't think we bring it back until we launch it. Let me see here. No, we'll get it in there so you guys can see it for the Christmas one or the holiday one. But definitely check those out and just start thinking about it, mapping out your marketing plan for the fall. And then we'll be here week over week to help you be successful with that and give you a plan. And we got something really cool coming at the end of the month. I can't really even announce anything or even release a wait list or anything at this point, but we are going to have something super awesome that we're going to have a wait list for. And once that's all kind of ready to rock and roll, I'll let you guys know about getting on the wait list so you can be one of the first ones there. But it's kind of top secret at this point. But you'll find out soon enough. Hopefully we're ready by next week to be able to get it on there. So let me just jump in, see if we have any questions. Doesn't look like it. Nothing on YouTube, nothing on Facebook. So, all right, if you take anything away from today, let's start reverse engineering our timeline. Start with the new year and start working our way backwards, right? What are some different things we can run? What are some micro commitments, meaning like really short-term programs that we could get people onto to start developing that relationship with them? And then what's our core offer coming up this fall? What's the core program that we can launch in September? We need to be launching something in September. Is it a challenge? Is it a reboot? Is it a group program? Is it our one-to-one coaching? We have spots that open up, but we need to start figuring out what that time is. So set aside 30 minutes, start looking at the calendar, and then start mapping this stuff out. Next week, I'm going to be coming up. We're going to have a really cool guide that you can look at to help map this out as well. But I think if you do a little prep work first, that guide's going to make even more sense for you. So next week, we're gonna start laying that out for you. But this month, it's all about strategy. Let's get it done. Usually, July is a little calmer. And so now is the time to focus on the business so that you can really capitalize and take advantage of September, because it is a great time of year to be a coach. So, as always, if you have questions, if you need help with anything, send a message of support, tag me in the comments. That's our job, is to help you guys. So that's all I got for today. I hope you guys have a great Tuesday. If you are in the United States and you're listening to this relatively soon after it launched, have a great 4th of July. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, and we'll see you later. Bye.